welcome to the show. I'm Ellie.
And I'm Chelsea.
And you're watching the Great Northern Creative Show.
Welcome to the show. We've got a lot in store for you over the duration of this week.
That's right. This is the only show where you can find the coverage of the Great Northern Creative Festival, which is taking place here in Preston at the University of Central Lancashire.
On the show tonight, we are going to be reflecting on last year's festival and talking to Alan Keegan, main organiser. He will be telling us exactly what the festival is all about.
We'll also be giving you some insight on special guests arriving in the next few days.
Yes, how exciting and what a great experience it is for the students here at the university.
We also have Bill McCoy, the MA screenwriting lecturer, joining us in the studio later to see his views on the festival and why he thinks it's a great experience for all.
But now we have a special treat for you. Let's see the highlights of last year's festival.
Hello, I'm Andrew Ireland. I'm the Executive Dean of the College of Culture and Creative Industries. CJAM this year is bigger than ever before. It's big, it's bold, it's exciting, it's cutting edge. It's cutting edge because we've got so many industry professionals in there, from Sky, BBC, ITV, all the major networks, all the big players. They're all in there in that one room, mixing with our students. So it's fantastic.
How did it go? Brilliant. It went absolutely great, yeah.
I think it went very well. I think it goes well when your students are incredibly engaged in it, and I think the students were marvellous today. They're pitching quite competitively for placements, but those placements are going to make a big difference, I hope, in their career path. It's given them the opportunity to get the foot through the door.
And today just means I think that everybody just gets a great insight into tips and little things that you can do to try and break your way into the industry.
Well, I mean, it's great to be here, and we're really flattered, I think, all of us who are giving talks today, that we've been invited to kind of impart our knowledge, because I think a lot of us started when the media landscape was really, really different. It was much more analogue, and now obviously it's very, very digital, and I think a lot of us are old dogs learning new tricks. So, in fact, we can learn a lot from talking to a lot of the students here about how you get messages out through different platforms.
I've been absolutely blown away by the commitment, the contributions, the attention, just everything about this event has been fantastic. People will go away genuinely changed because of it, and there'll be some people whose whole career trajectories will be completely different than they imagined it would be before they arrived at 10 o'clock today.
How great did that look?
Great.
It makes me so excited to see the events taking place this year.
Yes, me too. Now we have a special guest, Alan Keegan, in the studio with us now. Please welcome Mr. Alan Keegan.
Hello, a big welcome to the show. We're very happy to have you here.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Could you give us a bit of insight on the upcoming festival?
Yeah, we've got a variety of guests that we're looking forward to inviting in this year, and there's a cross-section for, the students and the public alike. In particular, we have Brian Klein coming in, who's produced and looked after Top Gear for a number of years, and we're very excited by that because the students can engage and go to his workshop. He's doing a Q&A with them, so that should be interesting. We also have John Thompson, the renowned actor, the Northern actor, and has been in Cold Feet recently, which has been doing really well, and John's coming in to talk again to the students, and that's been very much the sort of highlight of the festival, where we wanted that engagement where normally the students wouldn't get the opportunity to meet these people, so that's very exciting. And as well as that, there's a classic British film celebrating 30 years, Rita, Sue and Bob Too, and we have George Costigan who's coming in to talk to us, and again he's doing In Conversation With, and he's also recently released a book, so there's lots of variety there for the students to get involved in and to get engaged with, so it's a very, very exciting festival this year.
So the festival this year, what event are you looking forward to the most?
I think I always enjoy the festival, the sort of guests who the students can engage with, you know, because at the end of the day, you know, it is the Great Northern Creative Festival, and it's aimed at the students, particularly at UCLAM, but beyond that as well, and sort of, I mentioned a few events there, but I think in particular I'm looking forward to the Brian Cline one, because obviously Brian Cline's been in the industry for a number of years. He's a hardened seasoned pro, and the students can sort of learn from Brian when he comes in to do his workshop, to do his lecture, and of course they can also have a Q&A with him. So there's lots of variation with that particular event, and also it benefits the students first and foremost, which is our priority.
And you've mentioned they have the opportunity to speak to the professionals and those things, but is there anything particular that students can get out of the festival other than just speaking to the professionals?
Yeah, I think actually the involvement with the festival as a whole as well, because it's not just the people who are sort of in front of the camera or the guests who are turning up, but it's the students as a whole. You know, that was why it was set up initially 3 or 4 years ago. We always wanted it to be student-led. Hence, you know, this fantastic show is student-led. You know, it's very much produced, directed, presented by students, and that's what we set out to do. So from our point of view, that was always foremost at the plan of action. You know, that was always on the agenda, and the students can certainly engage on a variety of levels, which we want them to do, you know, and which they are doing, you know, and each year, to go back to the question you said before about gauging its success, the students have always been involved, whether it's just a little small role or whether they've been involved right across the board of the festival. So yeah, it's great for the students, and us as people involved with it, you know, as staff and as, you know, people involved in the production of the festival, that really excites us.
Building on the success of the festival so far, where do you see it going in a few more years, and what kind of direction?
Yeah, I think, as I mentioned before, this is the 4th one. It is, in our mind, the biggest and the best on a number of levels, particularly with what we're offering. But I think the long-term plan for the festival is also to get more, if you like, public engagement with it, you know, because it is organised, it is produced by the students, so that's the seed that it will develop from and will grow from, and then from then onwards we want to put it out on a wider spectrum and make it appeal to a wider audience, particularly a wider student audience, say from other universities, who will come and recognise the Great Northern Creative Festival as the sort of key festival of the year that they can get involved in. You know, next year we're going to run a number of student competitions which will engage other students both in film, photography, screenwriting, and a number of other areas. So that's the plan of action, and I'm sure it'll reach those targets that we've set out to achieve.
But how did it start?
I think it all started from a sort of the basis of a very small media festival, where we were looking at sort of getting the students to engage, perhaps with the odd guest lecture by a professional, and then an idea grew into a sort of mini festival. And the very first one, the Great Northern Creative Festival, was born out of little mini festivals that we'd had that catered for the students alike. And the first festival, we had lots of special guests, you know, not as busy as this year, but we had Frank Cotterill Boyce, who was involved with, you know, the closing ceremony at the Olympics. He's a renowned screenwriter and a very, very nice man. And again, you know, he's based in Liverpool. He's part of that massive writing group of people from Liverpool who are renowned for different projects in films and on TV. So we were delighted to have Frank at the very first one. He was fantastic. We also had a gentleman who's directed more James Bond films than any other director, John Glenn. He came in last year and was absolutely fantastic. The students loved him, and he was so engaging, and obviously had lots of stories that the students could relate to about being on set and dealing with the production of such a big franchise, if you like. You know, the James Bond franchise, one of the biggest movie franchises in history. And in between all of that, we also did a collaboration with ITV, where we produced, directed and delivered a soap in a week. And again, there must have been over 100 students involved in that, and all the specialists from Coronation Street and Emmerdale, the behind-the-scenes specialists right across from the board, from the writers to the camera people, the editors, they were all engaged with that. And our students were learning, you know, shoulder to shoulder, side by side, on how a soap was made and delivered. And, you know, we actually delivered a soap in a week, within a week here at UCLan. So lots of great projects involved with the previous festivals, and that's why we're confident it is just going to get bigger and better.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us and telling us a little bit about what the festival is about.
It's been an absolute pleasure to be here.
We now have Bill McCoy with us in the studio.
Bill is the MA Screenwriting course lecturer here at UCLan.
Welcome to the show, Bill. It is a great pleasure to have you with us.
Glad to be here.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Me? Well, as far as he is concerned, as you said in your intro, I work on the screenwriting, but I've had a career before here, so I've made a few contacts. So as a result of that, I've been able to pull a few people into the festival that I know, which will be exciting. And obviously it's a connection with being the lecturer. I'm also a writer, so also at the festival I'll be reading some of my work.
We're just going to take a quick break.
Don't go anywhere.